Everybody, it's Jillian. When I was in my bathroom, funny things that I think of when I'm in the bathroom, but not because I was on the toilet, I was actually brushing my teeth. But I was thinking about the whole trinity of a society at a deficit, and I put the top of the pyramid to be you as the body, okay? And then the two sides, the two corners at the end of hey, Mehmet, the two corners at the end of the pyramid are the virus as the plus and the medical holistic system as the minus. Okay? And so when you are looking at how, well, you look at the relationship, your relationship to viruses, it can't be like as if it was like the negative. You can't put viruses in the medical holistic system as if they were a negative or a bad thing. And the reason why you don't know anything about the agonist antibodies with the viruses is because the system doesn't want you to know that viruses are actually the evolution. And so if you actually put the formula of the Trinity, and now you finally realize that viruses are evolution, so there are the plus side of the integers, then you can look at how the Trinity is constructed, and the body is full of pluses and minuses. But if your body is full of negatives, even though there's a plus and minus in your body, that's why you're alive, because there's still life in you. But if you keep applying the medical holistic system to your body, those are a bunch of negatives, you're going to end up being a negative. Okay? And then if you keep plying your body with life and you balance out life, and so you still have pluses and minuses because your body is still a balance of pluses and minuses, but you still apply life, then you will always have more life than death. But you're like, well, isn't like cancer evolution, isn't that plus? Well, here's the thing. The reason why you even have cancer is because you have negatives on the back end that is not being factored in. And so when a person has exponential growth, it doesn't mean that their body is full of life. Obviously not. It means that somewhere they're losing energy somewhere else, and that energy on the front end is actually taking up more energy, and then it's also being released on the back end, but then you're not going to be alive. You're eventually going to die because of the thermodynamics. And so this is where we need to understand that viruses are a positive. Viruses are not a negative. And the fact that you have been told that viruses are a negative is what's causing the cancer, disease, and chronic illness and the premature death in our society. Like when you looking up like our viruses, agonist antibodies, our viruses evolution, you don't really see too much. You really see do viruses cause cancer? That's what I think I Googled. Do viruses cause cancer? And they're always saying, that tumor removal or oncology, or I don't know. There's never really a straight answer like you get. Like if you were to say, well, if you take radiation or something and you apply it to a tumor, then is that going to help it? And they're like, yeah, it's been a great medicinal thing. And so it's like you don't really get straight answers from the medical system because they are trying to imply something that you're going to die at some point and that the system is there to manage your thermodynamics. And when you have like tumors, yes, they can be scary for some people, but that's more of the first sign that you have an unbalanced energy somewhere and you're leaking somewhere. And so this exponential growth, this tumor, is kind of letting you know that there's a leakage somewhere. And so when the tumor grows, it means your leakage is growing when you think about it. Okay? And so when your tumor gets smaller, it means the leak is getting smaller. You're slowly patching up the back end of where you're leaking energy, causing the front end to grow so much. Okay? And so that's kind of how you have to look at tumors and cancer, is that once you don't have cancer, once your tumor goes down, it means that your body is distributing those agonist antibodies in the most effective way where it's not causing such exponential growth, usurping the energy in the important parts of your body. And so that's the whole Trinity. The whole Trinity is a formula. that if you can look at any specific problem in our society, I don't care what it is, look at your relationships, look at who are the two warring factions in your family. You look at the main characters in your family and you look at the two people, and then you wonder, well, what is causing these two people to have a conflict? Well, there's always some catalyst somewhere, always poking the bear, causing one person to react or, say whatever about the other person, and then this person. And so if you can understand, there's always a duality programming, and then the actual outcome, the actual catalyst is the triggers that cause the two working factions. Just like the whole thing with problem, reaction, solution. The trinity of the outcome is the solution on the top of the pyramid, like the capstone, and then the problem and the reaction are the 2 points at the bottom of the pyramid. Because for you to have a solution, there must be a problem and there must be a reaction. Okay? So there's a solution, but that was the outcome. And so it's like almost devising your own it's like devising your own formula, your own conflict, or your own equation to figure out, like algebra. You have these two, variables or constants or whatever, two variables, and here you have a constant. What is making up this constant? What variables are making up this constant? It's like hunting for the variables. It's like doing an Easter egg hunt. Okay, so it's a very mathematical, which I never thought I would actually even think about algebra or using algebra as an example for this, but it makes sense in the trinity of, because hunting for that positive to balance out that negative, I had to figure out, first of all, why is everyone hating the medical system? Well, yeah, it's automatically going to be satanic in the religious people's eyes, because yes, it's always dealing with negative integers, negative types of chemistry. I mean, when you look at the word immunity, it's all about taking away life. It's all about resisting. It's all about countering. It's all about, protection. And so there's a reason why there's so many people think that the medical industry is satanic, because they're not telling you what the positive side of the world is, or what they're countering. Well, it's not that they're countering, it's just the fact that they don't know how to control life and realize that, well, maybe they do, but they want to be the one to control the balance of life and balance of thermodynamics. And so if they make you think that you have no control over your body, and that you don't know that viruses are actually evolution, and then salt and the intelligence of the viruses will actually drive your system to do voluntary and involuntary reactions that you will know how to manage because of knowledge, and that way you don't have to put your life into somebody else's hands. Okay, and so that's the whole thing, is that the medical system is trying to act like your immune system. They're trying to be the adaptive immune system. That's exactly what it is. The medical holistic industry wants to be your adaptive immune system. They want to be able to take the blueprint from the viruses after they have gone and spliced and diced the viruses, because they can make synthetic viruses, piezoelectric viruses. I mean, Lawrence Lab of Berkeley or whatever over there in California, they're able to go and make a virus, a synthetic virus. Well, of course they know how to do that. They did that in Wuhan. Okay, now there's a question of whether or not they did it. They released it purposely. Okay, so if you can take a virus and program it, and with specific components of the human genome, which is basically like the parts store of a human warehouse, okay, and you then bind the proteins together, do the chemical reactions within the solutions, then you can control the growth. You can actually have the blueprint like a 3D printer, and then the medical system will be then the adaptive. They will actually be the code enforcers. Okay, that's what the adaptive immune system is. They're basically code enforcement. They're like, building enforcement. They're like OSHA or any of those enforcement agents like EPA and the USDA or the FDA. They want to make sure everything's going to regulation. That's what the adaptive immune system is, and that's what the medical holistic industry is. They're actually regulating your immune system. Well, what if you could regulate your own immune system? What if you took whatever programming they put out there? Because that's what happened, is that this virus was released. It had a programming of it, obviously. It's not a deadly programming or we'd all be dead. So it means that there's a programming that we all can adapt to, but some will adapt it better than others because they have what it takes. They have the thermodynamics. They have the insulation to handle the piezoelectricity. And so then you don't have to worry about the medical holistic system at all. None of the therapeutics, none of the crap that they want to offer you. And then you have to deal with all of your predispositions as you're trying to evolve into this environment. And do you have what it takes? Which means you have to eat bioengineered food. Because that bioengineered food has the biofortification to help you adapt to your environment. If you're taking food that has no substance or hardly any substance or one or two ingredients or one or two nutrients, then you're depriving your body of nutrition. And this is why people are at a deficit, because they're trying to eat clean and be all local and organic. And the world isn't organic. It's bioengineered. You've been bioengineered ever since the first day of mankind switched over from being nomadic to being civilized. Okay, so viruses are a plus. You've been bioengineered ever since day one. What day one? Ever since biodiversity came onto this planet. When a higher form of a humanoid, whatever it is, knew how to splice and dice and basically make mankind, took the prototype of a caveman, started manipulating its genome, and wow, now you have a beautiful person, symmetrical person, or a person that needs to adapt to an atmosphere. So before, when the atmosphere was very cool and very, not cool, but very like stable, you could be a skinny model out there and have next to nothing and wear next to nothing and have nothing to you. But now, as we're into a more aggressive atmosphere, you might need to put on some weight, ladies, because you're going to need the insulation to handle all of these electrical forces. Can you eat enough and put on some weight enough to be able to allow your body to absorb the electricity in the environment? Because I'm going to tell you, a couple weeks ago when I was going through the first initial part of the COVID, I was drinking shit ton of coffee because I was tired. Okay, I didn't know why I was tired, but I was drinking a shit ton of coffee, and I was drinking so much, it was insane. And then when I got off of coffee for a week, I had the worst headache. I'm like, oh my God, I got the coffee withdrawals. Well, it's probably part of the whole COVID crap that I was exposed to back in the middle of May. Okay? And so then I put on a few pounds. Remember I said, oh my God, my boobs are big. Everything is big on me right now. I'm like, holy crap. Remember a couple weeks ago I said that? I was like, wow, I'm enjoying my new voluminous body, right? And it's because my body was preparing to deal with this virus that's freaking insane. Okay, so that's the thing, is now you can't worry about what the social constructs were, in the old world, because now we're in the new world, you guys. The new world looking for order, which is how I'm going to say it in my book. Instead of the new world order, it'll be the new world looking for order. Okay, well, they entered in this picture ever since Wuhan, ever since 2020. Yeah, it started off in 2001, 9/11, when somebody attacked us, whoever it is, we don't know, but whatever. And then the agenda was rolling out from there. And then the conspiracy community came up. And then, then all this stuff that's going on and the presidential stuff. And then now we have this virus that's changing the course of humanity. And so, no, you're going to have to really develop your body to the level of your environment. Okay? And so you are the pluses and minuses. You are the integers. You are a combination of positive and negative. Your innate and adaptive immune system are the positive and negatives. And so the medical holistic system wants to be your adaptive immune system. And then and they also want to be your innate immune system. They want to go and splice and dice viruses to then evolve society to the level of their expectations. But you could still take on the programming of whatever they released in the environment, but you don't have to have them be your adaptive immune system regulating your body. And that's exactly how all of this shit's working. It took me, oh my God, such a long time to get to this point. But it took me understanding the trinity of the esoteric knowledge. I got out of the whole organic versus GMO. I got out of the activism. I got out of all of that bullshit. And once I rose above the conflicting dualities that's causing everyone to fight against each other and take on a freaking side, I understood the intelligence to both sides. And when you understand the intelligence of both sides, then you can start formulating an evolutionary type of sequence and then have a strategy to figure out how to merge the two worlds together. Just like the binary versus non-binary. They both can exist on the same plane because they both are either mitotic, reproduction or meiosis reproduction, and you have a choice. And if you're non-binary, you can still have a baby, so as long as the hormones stay stable and it can carry a baby to term. And if you're binary, you don't have to have a baby. I'm binary. I don't want a baby. And so this person over there who's non-binary and they have their own alternative lifestyle or whatever, they have like 10 kids. Well, good for them. If they're that rich and they're non-binary and they're able to take care of 10 kids, good for them. I don't want that responsibility. And so now we understand that humans can actually it doesn't have to be in a social construct, but they were many years ago because of the whole nuclear family, nation building, seeding and breeding and protecting, and also control through religion and through spirituality. Okay, there's a lot of different campaigns going on that promoted the religions, the promotion of Jesus and the Christ thing and all of that stuff. Now people can think I'm being satanic and being blasphemous, but I'm telling you, politics, religion, and science were a construct meant to control the masses on such a level. And now we're in a new world where that's not going to be needed anymore because now we're in a reset. They finally figured out how to control a human. They know how to splice and dice viruses to create evolution, and they know how to manage and regulate your immune system through the adaptive part of your immune system. And so that's the monoclonal antibodies. Okay, that's the MABs and the RABs. So biotech knows how to they know how to construct both sides, but now you have the chance to control one side of the equation. You can't control your environment. You can't control not being exposed to a virus because you're going to be exposed to a virus, but at least you can control the adaptive side of it. And you don't have to die at the end, like many people are dying right now at the end. Like they are being exposed to viruses and they're reacting, and guess what? They're doing all the negative stuff, the radiation, the chemotherapy, the cannabis, all the different, holistic supplements, taking out organs, operations, you name it, they're fucking doing it. And so you don't have to do that now that you know how this stuff works. Okay? And so you can rise above. But yes, now we're in a reset, and we don't need to have those specific social constructs of a man or a woman, and this person has a baby or this person doesn't, whatever. It doesn't even matter anymore. Are you a good person? Are you a good human? Do you promote life? Are you nice to animals? Are you nice to other people? That's all that matters. That's it. If you're not nice to people, if you're not nice to other humans, if you're racist, if you're homophobic, if you are, an abuser, then, at some point that's going to be taken care of. And those that don't take any discrimination, they'll become stronger and more strategic because they're not run by their freaking hormones, causing them to react on an exponential basis. And I know all the people out there that have issues, they want to live, but it's about evolving your mind. It's evolving your body. It's evolving your biochemistry, your spirit. And if that's not in your future, if you don't want to do that and you want to stay stuck in your tunnel vision and in your little echo chambers of groups of where you're bashing someone in the cancel culture, then yeah, you'll cancel yourself out because that's what's in your nature. That's what you're projecting. And so there's a lot of people out there that are supernovaing right now. And you feel bad for them because they want to live, but they cannot get out of their own way. And so anyways, yes, understand the Trinity. Understand what the main objective is, which is the top of the capstone. And then the two dueling arguments, the two conflicts are what it is that you're looking for to figure out what are driving the solutions at the top of the capstone. And then what are all the different layers in between. Okay? So that's all I'm saying. You guys have a good night. Happy Friday. Bye.